So I was going to do something interesting with this bowl today, but it's a bit windy outside. So today I've decided I'm going to show you something cool that I've noticed on my macroalgae over the last couple of months. We'll probably end up doing my bowl idea next week. Those of you who follow me on my other socials may have already seen this piece of macroalgae before, but I think it's a really interesting example of why macroalgae is so hard to identify. This particular species of macroalgae is either blue octodes or blue hypnea. I can't actually positively ID which one it is, but if you look at this piece you would think there are two different species growing in one blob, but that is not the case. So if, like me, you're interested in macroalgae, this is actually quite a revelation. You can see here, this is the original sort of strain that I started with. This is what I've been growing for the last 3 years in my old systems, and that's how it's always looked. However, in my new systems, it has changed its morphology to this particular type, thicker, a bit more rubbery, and obviously the branches are a lot further apart than this. And this shows you how macroalgae can change how it looks and obviously how it grows depending on its environment, which is why when people look at a piece of macroalgae and say, oh yeah, it's that species, it's really hard to actually know that they are positively IDing something, because you would definitely think that this is a completely different species to this, wouldn't you? You wouldn't say they were the same thing, but I can guarantee you that they all came from the same mother. They are basically clones of each other growing in different environments, and I find that amazing. While I'm talking about my macroalgae, I'll actually show you my new sides to my system. If you remember in my last update, I only had this side going. Well, now I've got the other side going. These are my old 4-foot tanks that I had in my old shed, and you can see they are running really well. I've turned them off because they make quite a bit of noise and there's already enough wind in the background for this video. On the bottom, I'm growing Ulva and I'm growing Cheeto. For lighting, I'm using 2 of these 150 watt Kingbo grow lights, and I'm also using a Tri-Spec 2. This Ulva has absolutely gone mental in this system. I almost had it die off because of the diatom bloom in my other side, but since putting it in here under these pink lights, it has gone absolutely insane. You can also see that the Cheeto is pearling so much that it's floating, which is amazing. So definitely pink lights work to grow green macroalgae. The only thing I found though is because of the high intensity of these lights, the Ulva is a lot thinner. Under low intensity, like this piece that came out of my other system, it's thicker, rubberier, hard to break, whereas the new growth is so thin, it's like paper, you can see through it, look, and it's a lot more fragile. So that just shows you that, again, macroalgae adapts to its environment. In this case, it's adapting to the light intensity. In this top tank, there's a few issues happening. It's just basically because it's a new tank. The actual tank itself is maturing. I've only recently put this sand in here, and I'm hoping that will help with some of the biological filtration, but you can see it's going green, and that's just normal. And the problem with marine tanks is the fact you have to wait so long. You have to be a very patient person to have a marine system because it's not a quick process. You can see though the little bugs are moving in. There's little gamma shrimp. It's going to help me out in a big way. The macroalgae is doing okay here. It's stalled a little bit because it's waiting for the tank to mature. I always find that until the tank's mature-ish, the macroalgae won't really grow. But we're ready to go. Once this hair algae is cleared, we'll be fine. On the other side, you can see my shaker is getting a lot better. Also, this entire system is looking a lot cleaner, and that is, again, patience. It's taken so long. I have been hitting my head against the wall for the last couple of months since I basically wrecked this system, and we're slowly getting there. And I imagine in another 2 months this tank would have grown out a little bit more, and it will start to look how I imagined it when I set it up. The Fluval Flex is actually cleaning up quite nicely. I didn't really want to do anything with this tank. It's just for some spare fish. So I've got this big old Clarky clownfish here that can't really go with anyone else because she destroys anyone that gets in her way, other than this 6 line, because I guess he's a bit too speedy. These tanks here they have been going through a similar process because it's all connected up. And I've been trying to combat a lot of this by introducing faster growing species of macroalgae. So we've got racemosa in here, we've got some prolifera in here as well. Fortunately, this keeps going sexual and melting. It's really, really annoying. It gets to a population where I'm thinking, oh, it's looking nice now. Maybe I'll start to frag it up and put it in other systems, and then overnight it just goes sexual. Very frustrating. That's part of keeping caulerpas, unfortunately. You can see my molly population has exploded. I'm really enjoying them. I've moved over my Frogspawn Coral into here because it doesn't seem to like my T5 lighting, but now I've got it under my Orphec Blue and the another Trispec 2. It seems to be coming out and being happy. I don't really want to lose it because although I'm not massively into corals, at this point it's actually quite a valuable coral, isn't it? I mean, to replace this would probably cost me over £100 nowadays, so I am doing my best to keep it alive, let's put it that way. So overall, positive news from my macroalgae fish house. Obviously, it's not been that long since I set this up. It's only been around 4 months since I put the first systems in here, and that's still really early days when it comes to marine tanks. So from my perspective, I need to wait a lot longer. I need to be more patient, but it's just frustrating because I come in here every day and I'm looking at the macroalgae and I'm thinking, why haven't you grown yet? But it's time and patience. As I mentioned in my next video, I'm going to be doing something interesting with this bowl. If you're into macroalgae, you probably already know because all the cool kids are doing these and I'm feeling left out, and I'm going to be doing one probably in my next video, so stay tuned for that. So thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please leave a like and also subscribe to my channel. Thanks to all my channel members. Once again, thanks for watching and happy fish keeping.